we're going to take a look at today how to create images from our Keynote drawing. So I've got a little drawing here of Jinx from Arcane, one of my favorite TV series on Netflix at the moment. If you like that kind of genre of movie, you can see here I've done a Keynote drawing. I've done a little sketch over the top of a reference image. It's in black and white. It's pretty cool. I've got a colored version there and some different versions there. How do we make an image file out of that? Because at the moment it's a Keynote drawing. So when I'm dragging this around, I can't really use it in other apps. I can't use it in Procreate or other apps that I want to use. How do I make an image file out of it with a nice transparent background? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drag my finger from the bottom and I'm going to open up the Photos app by dragging that into a split screen. Now I'm going to show you a different way of doing it if that's difficult for you. So right at the top here, you've got your three dots. Hit your three dots, go to split view, and then just select by tapping on the other app you want in your split view. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to drag that over so the Keynote takes up 3/4 and I've got my Photos app. Now you don't want to be on a photo. You want to be at this kind of gallery page. You know, it's kind of those thumbnails that you can see all of them. You don't want to be on a photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a long press so it pops and I can drag it directly and you can see that green plus. That means I've grabbed it properly. If you don't do a long press, it might do that. It might actually just, if you just click and drag, it's going to pop off your screen. So what you want to do is hold your finger down for 2 seconds until it pops, and then you should get that green plus saying that it's added. So once you've done that, that's all it takes. It's converted. Now, if I drag it back into Keynote, I've got one Keynote drawing and I've got one image file. So if I press on my drawing, you can see if I right click or tap on it, I can edit the drawing. But on the other one, if I tap on it, it's an image file. And so what I can do there is double tap, for example, and I can do things like masking it. So if I double tap on the image, I know that I can kind of mask the image and I can cut bits off. I might just use the legs, or I might just want to capture the top of the image, which could be the face. I can do all of those things because it's now an image file. And so beautifully, I can use that in other apps. I can do a range of different things, which is really cool that I can convert my drawings. Now, you also notice that it's got a beautiful transparent background, which means it only grabs the drawing. It doesn't make a JPEG with a white background. So if I change the background, can you see it hasn't created that white yucky background that we get with JPEGs or when we take screenshots? It actually creates just the drawing as a PNG image file that I can use to layer and do some cool compositions, which is great. So why don't we show you how to do that from scratch? Let's have a look at how we can do that conversion. I'm going to do some drawing here. So I'm just going to do a mixture on my page of some drawings, maybe some images I might bring in. I might even bring in a video. I could bring in some text. So I'm just going to do, I'm going to use my paint fill here as a tool. I might just draw some lines. Let's make that a little bit thicker so that you can see them. This could be really good for a scientific drawing that you bring off an image off the internet and you kind of annotate over the top of it. And I want to make a graphic file or a PNG image file of all of my annotations. So you can see here that it's kind of grouping them all together, which is pretty cool. I might do some just quick sketches with my crayon just so you can see different tools. And when I press done, I can reduce the size of that drawing, for example, and I can add some other content, which is going to be super cool. So I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. And why don't we bring in some other multimedia as well, some other media. So I'm going to go up here and maybe bring in an image file that I've got somewhere. Why don't we bring in that Jinx image that we kind of created before? So that's an image file that's coming in. I might make that a little bit smaller. And the other thing that students do in projects and teachers do quite a lot of is they bring in text. So why don't we go up to our shapes, not our images, our shapes, that's correct. If we go back to the start, right at the basic shapes, you'll see the text box. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger and I might just put in the word graphics just to give a demonstration of how we can multi-select things, create an image file of everything. So I've got a range of different media here, text, drawings, paintings, an image file. I've got lots of different things. Now, if I drag my finger, do a long press and drag my finger over all of them, I'll be able to multi-select them and select all of them. So if I just say, open that up in a split screen, I could do a long press just on the drawing and dragging and make a graphic file just out of that. So that's an image file of that there. But if I drag my finger, long press, and I drag it and multi-select, and I drag all of them over, I've created a graphic or an image file out of all of those things with the transparent background, which is really nice in regard to being able to create kind of custom graphics with my text, images, and drawings all in one. So you can see here it's incredibly powerful to kind of use your Keynote as almost like your notepad, but then being able to convert your images to bring into the different files. Now, how did I do that Jinx graphic? Well, I use a lot of reference images. So if you've got an image off the internet like this one, and you want to kind of draw over the top, it could be a scientific drawing of a plant or something like that, I'll give you a couple of tips. Select your image, go up to your paintbrush and go to Arrange and reduce the opacity. That way you can see your drawing a lot clearer. The other thing that I like to do is select the image before you start drawing, go up to your paintbrush, and in the Arrange section you can see Lock. That stops it from moving. If your hand goes on it and moves, it can be really irritating. Then it's a case of just pressing on the image with your Apple Pencil, or go up to Insert Drawing and just draw over the top. Now, because I've reduced the opacity, if I select the light color, you can actually see the drawing a lot clearer, especially if you're using the same colors. If I was using a black pen, for example, reducing the opacity lets me see what I'm actually drawing. So I'm just going to do a really quick mock-up here of the different kind of structures of the image. I might even do the hair just quickly so I can see. And what we're actually going to do then is we're then going to do a long press on the drawing and do like we did at the start of this tutorial and convert it to an image file. That's how I did the Jinx one, is I kind of used a reference image to do it. I put my own kind of spin on it. I'm going to open up in a split view my photos with it, and I'm going to do a long press and drag that over into my photos, and it's done that beautiful conversion into an image file. So it's taking all of your annotations and your sketches and making beautiful image files out of them. Super cool, great feature. I hope you really enjoyed that tutorial.